Awesome. Excellent. Welcome back, my dears. So let's begin. I'm gonna put this on our presentation mode. Tools and framework for building agentic AI. So as technology advances, and gosh, it's doing at an epic rate, a growing ecosystem of developer tools and platforms have emerged. Some of them are simple agents, SDK approach, no need for LangChain. A lot to be said about LangChain and LangFlow in upcoming sections. For example, just connecting to OpenAI's API key. That would be an SDK approach. Pre-built agents. A lot of awesome companies, N8N, for example, 11XI, they have really great flows to work with. No-code tools and developer frameworks. All right, let's delve in deeper. A simple agent, no chunking. This means you don't have to use LangChain. Again, I do want to elaborate on that further, but it's good to note where the simplicity lies. Ideal for demos and classroom work. These AI agents do not require LangChain or chunking of large documents. The code that will come up, I have it over here, also in the links below. We can run this environment together in a few minutes. It performs basic accounting function, for example, invoice, then go to Google Sheets, and doing mathematical functions or creating a conversation between two or more users, such as sales rep and a customer service, or between father and son. That's actually one of our labs that's coming up. There it is. There it is. So, typical code would look like this. You're going to need to have your API key. The free tier of OpenAI does this. You don't have to have the paid version. But using the API key itself does require a credit card. That's a minimum of $5. It's worth it. You can still use the free tier. I have links in the assignments section in the labs when it comes in. Barely. I've been working in here for days, and it hardly got to 50 cents. And you can put a limit, say don't go past $10 and so forth. So define system roles. You are a frustrated customer. You bought a laptop whose battery dies too quickly. Express your concern clearly, one message at a time. Can you tell the reasoning, planning sections coming into play in here? The support role. So we have two agents really. You are a polite and empathetic customer support agent. So notice now these, you can tell we're going to need a tokenizer and embeddings as OpenAI's LLM tries to infer from the directions that we're giving it. Initialize the customer. This is a dialogue between a customer and a support agent. Got it. You can use something like this for training, perhaps. For folks that are new to customer support, they can watch a rather heated exchange between a client and a customer and note how they would then react in replace. Certainly not in a heated way back at all, but in a more emotionally mature and intelligent way. Let's do it. Let's begin. So well, here it is. I have my API key up there. Customer role, you're a frustrated customer. You bought a laptop whose battery dies too quickly. Explain your concerns a message at a time, and so forth. So we're going to use ChatGPT for Zero Mini. You can use different models, really. I mean, ChatGPT's models in this case, anyway. These can also be done by downloading Olama, for example. But then you have to be ready to download some heavy artifacts onto your machine. But then it's fully open source. We're setting the role in here to start conversation. Hello, I just bought this laptop and the battery dies after only 2 hours. I'm really upset. All right. Few runs back and forth. You can change this from anywhere 3 to 5 or even longer. We'll keep it at 3 rounds that it goes. Customer support message, get the reply, the assistant, the content that we're going to put in there. So this will be fabricated, built by the LLM that we're accessing. Okay, and the customer role. Let's run this. Uh, there we go. Very good. So we start off with the customer uh, prompt, if you would. Allow it a few seconds. Some empathy. Could you provide me with the laptop model and activities you're doing while using it? So comes it. Customer. I bought this model and I mainly use it for browsing the internet and some document editing. Ba-bam, ba-dam, ba-dam. I fully charged it. To help you further, could you let me know if you have any power saving settings enabled? Interesting now. And customer support and the client going on. In the meantime, I can assist you optimizing the battery settings. Very nice. Here are a few initial steps you can try. Check the power settings, update background applications. If they don't help, if you're willing, we can troubleshoot a few things together, like checking. Very, very interesting. How it just built this conversation between two agents. It went through really the five artifacts that we spoke of and elaborated in here. Let's take a closer look at what transpired in here. Now, that one was using an SDK, right? An open AI SDK. In here, you can also have pre-built agents. These are already out there. They're tailored to common tasks like customer support, marketing automation, or supply chain management. These off-the-shelf solutions let you start leveraging AI immediately with minimal customization needed. You should try this 8A and 8. It's a lot of drag and drop, and you can see how memory, context, goal, it's all detailed in the boxes that you drop off. 11x AI is also another good pre-built agent you can use. What about no-code tools? Langflow, for example, is one that you can use. Allows you to build, configure, and deploy AI agents using intuitive interfaces. Langflow is really the name of the tool. It's not Lang chain or Lang graph. Those are different. We will talk about. It's the really name of the flow. Each one of them is a link just for your own joy of getting to familiarize with them. They have free trials, 14-day trials or so forth that you can just try. I did. It's really fun. This one is a really good one. It's totally open source. B agent from IBM. Uh, there we go. I love this video. I want you to take a moment and click on the link that appears in the below. And Martin Keane, he is a master inventor at IBM, and he's my university. He's my go-to person when it comes to learning about all this. And he explains the difference between LangChain and LangFlow. It's LangGraph, I mean. Excellent. What about choosing the right approach? Which one should I pick? The slides talks a little bit towards that. When selecting frameworks and consider the following. Your team capabilities. Do you want a no-code solution or versus an engineering-centric framework? What about speed to market? Pre-built solutions versus fully customized builds? Scalability, maintenance. How easily will you update and grow your agent ecosystem? That would determine which path you may want to go. By evaluating these factors, you can find the ideal path to quickly and effectively bring AI agents to your operation. LangChain. These are the building blocks for AI applications, and you have heard of it, no doubt by now. Let's chat a little bit about those. So, what is LangChain? Think of it as the Lego blocks for building your application. For that matter, think of Lang graph as the pathway, as the framework that these Legos would begin. So the Lang chain would be the basement, the first floor. The second Lang graph would be, well, this what kind of a house is it? Is it a two-door? Is it a ranch? So we build the Lego pieces and put them according to the graph that Lang graph brings it. Lang graph is a part of Lang chain. LangChain is a framework that makes it easy to connect LLMs like GTP or Claude with other tools and data services. Here's some question answers for you. Is LangChain the only framework? No. There's also Llama Index, great for RAG applications, retrieval augmented generation. We have a lab on that. Haystack is another one. But LangChain has the largest community and most integrations. Think of it like React for web development. Not the only choice, but it's the most popular, somewhat like Python versus R. Can LangChain work with any LLM? Absolutely yes. It's model agnostic. You can use it with GTP, Claude, Mistral, open source models. LangChain abstracts the differences. Is it just for chatbots? Absolutely not. Chatbots are one use case only. It's really about orchestrating AI to solve any complex task, data analysis, automation, research, content creation, you name it. How does this relate to MCP? You may have heard of MCP. We talked earlier, Model Context Protocol. It's a big story, big connection. MCP is the protocol for agents to connect to tools. LangChain is a framework that can use MCP servers. They call it MCP. You build an MCP server as tools. They're complementary. LangChain provides the orchestration. MCP provides the standards connection. Think of it as the C port, USB C port. Otherwise, we have to write separate code if you want to connect to your email, if you want to connect to Travelocity, if you want to connect to a booking system, to a Hilton hotel. MCP becomes that USB port, universal port that allows you to connect regardless of the tools that you want to go to. More on that, of course, coming up. Much more to come later in this journey. Here's an example. Here's an example of LangChain, and we're using this with a RAG instance. I want to do this lab for you in a few seconds. First thing that we do, pip install LangChain, and of course, Chroma database. It's it does the tokenization activities. More of the embeddings in the tokenization happens in here. Load your PDF. A sample PDF that I have it on my desktop, IBM's IBV values. We'll take a look at that. Experiment with the chunk sizes. This is a fun thing to do. All of this is in the GitHub provided. So by all means, change that from thousands to various other ones. See how it go. What about chunking overlaps? It splits the sentence. From there, we go to create embeddings in the store. Tokenization and embeddings is really is a key concept. It's just underlying folks. Take a look at this sentence, just a few minutes on that. Create create embeddings and store in vector database. Okay. So first I'm going to tokenize it. Think of it as my scissors. I have a scissors in here, and I'm going to chop this into sections, little parts. Create Cree, perhaps, could be one chunk. 8, perhaps, could be another one. creatine, maybe it was used. Attention, 8 could be used over there. If you chunk them too small, it would lose its meaning. If you chunk them too big, well, then you won't be able to use it because it then constructs it. It brings these back together to predict the next word. Embeddings, I can really chunk embeddings in numerous ways. Um, M, that could be a chunk. Embroid, for example. Bed, that could be another. Bedrock, maybe. Uh, Ding, you could use that somewhere. S, that's the plural. It's always it's good to take go with the root lima and then chunk out the plural of it. And I suppose I would keep and as a token. Store, maybe sto could be one. RE could be another one. Reinforcement and so forth. That could also be storage. Where did my mouse go? In could be one token. Vector, vec, and the tor could be database. Now the machine says, thank you very much for doing this nice chunking with the scissors that you did, but I need numbers. So each one of these becomes a number. Cree, perhaps, and it's a vector. And if you think of a vector, vector has a direction, really. It's Cree might be 27, 8 might be 915. I'm making these numbers up. Embeddings, there was a bunch of tokens in there. M could be 98, bed 6005. And when the machine starts to use those numbers, embeddings in a vector space, meaning space, when it comes time to regenerate for ChatGPT to regenerate a sentence, predict the next word, what it does, it brings these vectors together. Interestingly enough, the vectors with the smallest cosine angle, cosine similarity, are the ones that are picked. For example, imagine this vector, this finger down here. It says these two shall. Well, we have these two shall commence. Some people say that. These two shall manifest. Some people say that. These two shall pass. I've heard that. So there's a strong affinity between these two vectors. The angle between the adjacent and the hypotenuse is the smallest. The sign would be opposite. So the cosine similarity, the smaller that angle is, go pick that word. Fascinating. More to come on, not in this set of video series, but embeddings and tokenization in itself is a world of knowledge. Dot product is also used where you take a matrix and multiply it by a vector. Statistics starts with statistics, really, especially if you have structured data, regression, classification. It moves on to calculus, especially if you're working with unstructured data. Derivative is slope. The slope is learning rate. Integral is the area under the curve. They do the opposite. And then linear algebra, multiplying matrices by vectors and so forth, coming up with a new vector. All right, back to our regular scheduled programming. We do the retrieval part of RAG. What is this document about? And it does the work for us. Let's do it. So my RAG application is right here. Sample document. Put your API key here, and I do have a sample document right here. It was this one. 5 trends for 2025. Great article. Open article. Nothing from insider. And IBM puts out these. They call it IPV, Institute Business Values, IBV research briefings that they put in. So 28 pages, and the location is on my It's on my desktop. It's right there. All right. Now, this particular one actually has it. Uh, there it is. Users desktop 5 transfer PDF. I have my OpenAI key up there and split the documents into chunks. The embeddings. This is the database where we store those vector database. And prompt template, use the following piece of context to answer the question at the end. If you don't know the answer, just say that you don't know. For example, I can type in, can you change my bicycle tire? Tell me how to change the coffee filter. It knows the answer because it's an LLM, but we're instructing it. This is how you take away the hallucinations and you make your LLM a RAG, retrieval augmented generation. So it would address exactly what it is that you upload, if you would. Uh, Excellent. Continues. So here are some sample questions and to do on your behalf when as you do this, download this on your system from my GitHub repository. Change these questions. What is the main topic? Can you summarize key points? Experiment with chunk sizes when all is said and done. Change those chunk sizes. Try different questions. Uh, Let me already did this. Let's run this. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, what is this document about, right? According to the terms and conditions. What's the main topic of this? It's part of M5, now it's in sixth year, which offers strategic insights to help organizations. Another source of it. Can you summarize the key points? CEOs are prioritizing short-term targets over long-term efforts, leading to technical debt that could hinder progress. By linking productivity gains to new solutions and measuring the benefits of modernization. Beautiful. Just summarize those 25 pages in here. What are the most important takeaways? The importance of planning ahead and avoiding short-term resource reallocation is emphasized. Leaders need to shift mindset to prevent technical debt from hindering progress, and on and on. And these are some of the exercises that you can do. Brilliant, brilliant. That is how we use the chunking to go inside that 25-page document, used it in accordance with the RAG. So if you remember one of the areas that said, when do I need the chunking? Well, when you're working with the RAG application, that's a perfect time to work with the chunking. Where is LangChain used? RAG, retrieval augmented generation. We saw an example of it. Example, a chatbot that answers questions about your company's documentation, searches your docs, finds relevant info, feeds it to the LLM, gets accurate answers. Multi-agent systems, indeed. A team of AI agents where one searches, one summarizes, and the other agent does fact-checking. Each agent has a role. They work together to complete the tasks. Chatbot and conversational AI. Example, customer service bot that remembers conversation history, maintains context, personalizes the responses, handles follow-up questions. So this is where we need to use LangChain. Data analysis and SQL queries. Example, show me sales trends for quarter three. So LangChain translates to SQL, runs the query, and explains the results. In natural language, database queries, human readable insights. What about document processing and summarization? Upload a 50-page legal contract, get one-page summary with key points. One of our questions in that example was the summary from that 25-page document. Chunks documents, processes efficiency, generate summaries, API integration and automation. Example, book me a flight to Boston and add it to my calendar. That's where I live. I am in Boston. Calls flight APIs, books tickets, updates calendar, confirms with the user. Code generation and debugging, isn't it an example for you? Write a Python script to analyze a CSV file. How cool is that? It understands the request, generates the code, tests it, explains what it does. When to use it and when not to use it. Let's quickly recap those. Skip LangChain if your agent is small, 1 to 3 tools, calculator, web search, database query. Uh, Prompt, maybe just call a tool and respond. Classroom demos, notebooks, quick prototypes. If you want minimal dependencies and easy debugging, you don't need LangChain. And when do you need LangChain? Well, we talked about the RAG plumbing, multiple tool users, branching logic, route, plan, act, reflect. It retries and guards against certain nuances. Graphs or states machines for agents. LangGraph, imagine. That video by Martin Keane explains the difference between LangChain and LangGraph. LangGraph is part of LangChain. LangChain comes first. LangChain is the Legos that you put together. LangGraph tells you stick this over here, that over there, that over there, this over on this side, so you can have a nice roof to the house. You know, it's the orchestration of the LangChain activities. And many other integrations to data stores, file types, APIs with less custom setup. That's when you would use LangChain. Here's a concrete decision list. Say no to LangChain if your answer to most of these is only 1 to 3 tools, one model family, a short lifespan prototype, or classroom lab you want to do. You can tolerate writing 50 to 150 lines of glue code, as they call it. Go with LangChain. You do need RAG now. You're using more than 3 tools. You want observability. You want to eval without building it yourself. You want to swap providers from OpenAI, go to Anthropic, go to Mistral, go to Llama. You're building multi-agents or graph shape workflows. This, my dear, is a story for our next video. Hope you're enjoying it thus far. I will see you shortly for that. Until soon, my dears.